In Honduras, a presidential candidate has been arrested. Meanwhile, in Mexico, a deadly shootout on a beach terrified tourists at a nearby resort. Ian Lee is following all of these stories for us, as well as others. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Amory. Yeah, the shootout in Mexico had guests at a five-star resort jumping for cover. Authorities say it involved two rival gangs on a beach near Cancun yesterday, leaving two suspected drug dealers dead. Chaos gripped the Hyatt Ziva Riviera Cancun resort as staff told terrified guests to find places to hide. A witness recalled how folks were playing volleyball on the beach and swimming in the pool when gunmen suddenly approached and started shooting. Employees of the hotel hustled everyone into hidden rooms behind the kitchens. One tourist was reportedly treated for a minor injury in the kerfuffle. Security forces quickly descended and secured the hotel. We're moving on south to Honduras, where authorities arrested presidential candidate Santos Rodriguez yesterday. The former army captain is accused of money laundering related to drug trafficking and murder, including the killing of a DEA informant. With less than a month until the presidential election, all the main candidates face either accusations of corruption or drug trafficking. Even outgoing President Juan Hernandez has been accused of being part of the drug trade, which he denies. Now, while not a favorite to win, Rodriguez also insists that he is innocent. Next, we're at the Vatican, where on Thursday, Pope Francis appointed the first woman to serve in the #2 position in the city's governorship, kind of like the deputy mayor of the Vatican. As Secretary General, Sister Raffaella Pederini will become the highest-ranking woman in the Vatican. The appointment is seen as a move by the Pope trying to make good on a promise to improve the gender balance within the Catholic Church. The position will have Pederini oversee more than 2,000 people. Finally, we are in Saudi Arabia, where the Biden administration has approved the potential sale of $650 million worth of weapons. A State Department spokesman said the move is to help the kingdom defend itself from Houthi attacks from neighboring Yemen. The weapons sale will include support for the country's F-15 fighter jets, as well as spare parts, equipment, technical, and logistical support. Emery, there are several things to break down here. First, former President Trump was criticized for continuing to sell weapons to Saudi after the murder of columnist Jamal Khashoggi. He even vetoed several bipartisan resolutions seeking to block arms sales to the kingdom and to end support for Saudi's war on Yemen. So people would think that this is where a President Biden would reverse his predecessor's decisions. And now we encounter realpolitik. While the Biden administration stopped the U.S.'s support for the Saudi offensive, which is a humanitarian disaster, the White House still sees the kingdom as an important ally in the region and key to countering Iranian influence. So whether it's a Democrat or a Republican as president, we're unlikely to see the relationship change as long as Iran is seen as a threat. Remember the old proverb, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, which I can tell you is also said in Arabic.
Yeah, it's a complicated relationship, Ian, but we know that President Biden said that he would stop support of Saudi Arabia's operations in Yemen. The conflict is ongoing. This deal here, this military deal, it has to complicate the U.S.'s plan to address the situation in Yemen, where there is a raging humanitarian crisis.
Yeah, absolutely. There's starvation in Yemen. There's a lack of medicine. It really is a horrible situation. You know, and I looked over the press release that detailed kind of the weapons that are going to be sold to Saudi Arabia, and kind of the key takeaway is that this is support for their Air Force, but in a way that it's air-to-air missiles, air-to-air support. This isn't weapons that will be flown into Yemen and drop down. There's not bombs. This is very much seen as, you know, going after an enemy's aircraft or something that the Houthi rebels don't have. But there was something interesting in this, which, you know, could be easily glossed over. I highlighted it. It says the proposed sale of this equipment and support will not alter the basic military balance in the region. Most people might not understand what that means, but because of Israel is a major ally, the major ally in the region, the United States, by law, has to make sure that Israel has the qualitative military edge. Basically, they have the biggest, best weapons in the region, and the United States can't sell other countries in the region that threatens Israel's security. So you look at this list of weapons and support the United States is providing, it's still saying that Israel will have, this edge over everyone in the region, that these weapons won't threaten Israel. So there's a lot at play when you read one of these statements about what they're selling and what they're doing.
Yeah, so true. You have to be able to read between the lines, Ian. That's why I'm grateful to have somebody here who has reported from the region and has a really good understanding of what is being said with what's not being said, if you get my drift. Ian, thank you very much.